Thank you for sitting down with me, Father.
Of course, my child.
Now, I want to know something, Father. How long have you known Romeo?
For about, I'd say 5 years since I first really noticed him. Noticed that he was lonely and seemed far more pensive than the other boys his age. Of course, he had been in my parish since birth. I baptized him as well.
And how old was he when you first took notice of him?
Well, let's see. He was 16 when he perished, God rest his soul. So that means he was 11. Yes, even at 11, he was a sad child. He thought too much of love and fate, which at his age made him awkward. But I spoke with him.
And what did you speak about?
I encouraged him not to give up hope. I told him that someday he would find true love, and then he would know how to act. I advised him against fighting alongside the Montagues, for I knew that most youths his age began to truly believe in the pointless feud of the two households.
Yet he still became embroiled in the feud. How can this have happened?
Boys grow up, and the men remain children.
Now, I'm very interested to know one thing, Father.
Speak, my child.
Is it customary for a friar to have such an extensive knowledge of sleeping draughts?
Customary is a funny word. It was my custom. Other friars have other hobbies.
Now, what led you to believe that your sleeping draught would be a good idea to administer to a 14-year-old girl?
I never thought it was a good idea. At the time, it seemed like the only solution.
The only solution to what?
Well, to the predicament, of course.
Father, explain the predicament to me.
Romeo and Juliet were in love, but society said they could not be together.
Did you ever stop to consider that society may have had their best interests at heart?
I fail to see the merit of your pontifications.
Allow me to rephrase that. How can you be sure that their love was ordained by God?
I cannot be. God works in mysterious ways.
Then, Father, forgive me if I'm being rude, but why did you marry the two? They were underage, were they not?
I fail to see your reasoning.
What gave you the authority to marry two underage children?
It was not a legal marriage, of course. It was merely a ceremony, and I was God's witness.
Romeo and Juliet took it far more seriously than you intended to.
No, no, no. I intended it with all gravity and holiness.
Did you explain to the two that the marriage was merely a ceremony?
Marriage is a ceremony.
Romeo and Juliet took the ceremony to mean that they were legally married. You led them to believe.
What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that for a man who gave poison to a 14-year-old girl, you have surprisingly little guilt about your actions.
You're twisting my words.
I'm giving America the truth.
You're twisting my words.
Friar, it was not your place to decide whether or not Juliet could imbibe your sleeping draught, let alone whether you could trick the entire city into believing that she had died for 24 hours.
No, no, no. I cannot comprehend why you are taking the side of the drug dealers, of murderers and thieves.
I'm taking the side of the law.
God does not agree with you. God sent the lovers as a gift, a way to end the feud.
And they did so?
In their deaths, yes. God rest their souls.
So it was your plan from the beginning for the lovers to die?
What? How dare you?
Together, you believed that they could end the feud. You joined them in matrimony and led them to unification in their death, thus ending the feud.
You're not a newswoman. You're a monster!
We'll let the Pulitzer Committee decide that. Now answer the question, Father.
You did not ask a question, my child.
Was it your plan all along for the lovers to die?
No, my child. The devil is making you see the worst in everyone.
That may be so, but as long as we're on the subject, I have another thing I want to ask you. You say you began speaking to Romeo when he was 11 years old, correct?
Correct, my child.
What could you possibly have been speaking to him about at age 11?
As I said, Romeo was far too concerned with fate and romanticism for any intellectual discussion with other boys his age. Though he was not as physically mature as some of the other boys, his emotional maturity was well beyond his years.
And the advice you gave him was?
I told him not to worry, that he would find the right girl someday, but that he was far too young at the time.
And do you believe he found the right girl in Juliet?
Yes.
Then, Father, riddle me this. Why did you not advise Romeo to shun his lustful desires and join the clergy like yourself?
I knew that Romeo had the power to love, and that a woman out there would appreciate it.
But would not God appreciate it as well? Is it not a basic principle of your religion that you must love God?
True, my child, but I felt that Romeo would better serve the world of God in other ways.
I see. And what happened as Romeo matured? As he went through puberty, did you advise him about everything?
Of course, my child.
Could you give the viewers at home an example?
No, no, no. I cannot forswear the sacred covenant of confession and reveal what Romeo confessed.
But he did confess, and you did soothe him.
Well, of course, my child. It is my sacred duty to do so.
But is it natural for a friar to take such an interest in one worshipper when you had no intentions of convincing Romeo to join the clergy?
What do you mean isn't natural? What exactly are you asking of me?
Father, Romeo listened to every piece of advice you ever gave him. and it led him to his death. Why should America believe that you did not lead him astray in other ways?
No, that's an absurd insinuation. You cannot be suggesting such sin. I shall hear no more evil.
Temper, Father.
I cannot sit here and listen to this evil any longer. Good day, and may God save you, child.
And you, Father.